Here's your host, Dan Celia.
Good morning. Welcome back to Financial Issues. I'm Dan Celia. It's great to be here this morning. Of course, it's Martin Luther King Day, and a lot of schools closed, a lot of all the federal government's closed, the stock market's closed. So many of you may have off today. If you do, it's a good day to call in if you've got a question. You'll be able to do that this morning. Not a lot of economic news coming out this week. As a matter of fact, we're not even going to see any real economic news at all this week, in my opinion. Wednesday, we have the mortgage index coming out. And on Thursday, we've got the usual job claims number. We've got housing price index coming out. We have existing home sales. And then that's it. We have natural gas and oil, crude oil futures, crude oil inventories coming out. That's it. That's the economic market outlook for the week. But we also have a lot of earnings reports still to come out. So we'll see some of that throughout the week, and that's going to impact the markets one way or another, I'm sure. So we'll watch that, obviously. Let's see. We have yet on Friday, the Dow closed up 41. It started out negative, closed up 41. The NASDAQ was down 21, about 0.5%. And the S&P was down as well, around 7. So not a lot of movement. There was an okay bit of volume last week, but nothing to write home about. But I still think there's an awful lot of lack of clarity in the markets, and I think that's going to show for the next couple of weeks. It's going to be interesting to me to see how this month ends up and to see how, frankly, this week even does. But I think with earnings reports coming out all month long for fourth quarter, I think that's going to start to drive the market a little bit as people are starting to take their attention away from quantitative easing. I think they feel as though the punch bowl has not been removed yet from the party. They're still concerned that it could be, but I think everybody seems to be, those on Wall Street and traders are thinking, we need to turn our attention to some other things, like real things that are in the market. And I think that if we start to see that happen, which we are, that's going to make a huge difference in the market. Because when people turn their attention to the markets, to the economy, not the markets, they're going to realize that the economy is a lot sicker than everybody thinks it is. Oil is at $93.79 right now. It is on its way down. It is likely to stabilize someone there or go up a bit. What is happening with oil right now in futures trading? Down because China is coming out with some pretty bad news on their economy. It doesn't look like they're going to have the growth in the industrial output that was considered. Well, China is a huge user of oil for their industrial production. So when we see industrial production get cut, it means that there's going to be more oil available, right? Because they're not going to be causing a drain on it. So it should drive prices down a little bit, and that's what it's doing this morning. There was apparently there's going to be a huge default in China come the end of the month. The Industrial and Commerce Bank of China sold their China Credit Trust product to customers throughout China. Now, this was a product that was guaranteeing them some sort of return, a considerable return. The people of China that have any money are starving for some kind of investing because they're very limited as to what they can invest in. So the bank, the world's largest bank by assets, Thursday suggested it will not compensate investors for the losses that it's going to take from the sale of these China Credit Trust products. So they're going to lose. There are investors in China. They're going to lose about $500 million. That's how much was lent or given to this trust that was primarily invested in mines, coal mining primarily. So, there was a lot of news out there in reference to, how can they do this? People getting burnt and, this is going to wreak havoc on their markets and, this is just unethical and all kinds of things like that. It's communist China. communist China. They can do whatever they want. Oh, wait, we got a bad debt here. We got a problem. We can't pay this. We have to pay 12% to stay afloat, and we're paying them out 10%. This is not a good deal. We're going bankrupt. What are we going to do? This isn't America. It's communist China. Of course they're going to default. They're going to bail them out. You think they're really that concerned over $500 million of investors' money? It's a beautiful thing when you're running a government like that. Let's hope the administration doesn't see this. Obviously they will. Because it's just, hey, you know what? It's just more debt than we can bear. Let's just forget it. We're just not going to pay it. Oh, all you people that invested it, sorry. It's the way it goes. It's communist China. Why is it when everybody talks about China, I know it's not politically correct. Horrible thing. Can you imagine calling China exactly what it is? Communist China. I mean, we don't do that anymore. We don't talk about red China, communist China. We don't do that. Well, just because we don't say it anymore and it's not politically correct to call communist China, they're still communist China. They're a dictatorship. Nothing has changed. They can do whatever they want. And I get emails from people say, I think I want to invest in China. Okay, well, knock yourself out. Why, if you want to invest in, a company that is doing business in China, KFC or something like that, that's one thing. But why would you invest in it? In the Chinese economy that is run by a dictator that can do whatever they want to do? Is the communist China growing? Of course it is. Is the economy one of the fastest growing economies? Yes, the second largest. Not even close to ours, but the second largest economy. I don't know. But this is a good example. So for all of you who have written me, emailed me, or talked to me about investing in China, there's my answer. You want to do that? Why? Why do we want to take risk? We always think, well, we got to take it. I'm going to be the only person that's going to invest in China on this particular stock, and I'm going to make $1 million. Okay. There's some great companies right here in America if you want to invest. 866-300-9298. 866-300-9298. 866-300-9298. If you want to call in, this is a great time to do it. It's a good day to do it. 866-300-9298. Let's see what else has happened in the commodity front, and then I want to play some clips for you and talk to you about some talking points here that I have today. Gold is up, by the way, $4.10. It's at $12.56. Silver is at $20.36 right now. Corn is down almost 1%. That's a big jump considering it's been down for the last 3 weeks. We've got wheat down 1.6%. Wheat has not been hit as hard as corn. Well, that just changed. Cattle up. Cattle's likely and calling for, cattle's saying that it's going to be up. We're going to see higher beef prices in the market. So President Obama is on a mission to start thinking about, by the way, his approval rating at an all-time low. I don't know if he cares or not, but nevertheless, all-time low approval rating. People are getting tired of it. I saw Alberta King on Fox News this morning, and she said, look, what this president needs to do, if you want to do something to lift people up, is create jobs. Something I've been saying and writing about. Create jobs. This president has done a great deal to take a huge step backwards for poverty in America. Create jobs. And he has been talking about creating jobs every year that he's been in office. Here's what he said about that very thing last week. Clip 13. Go ahead, Devin.
We've got to make sure this recovery, which is real, leaves nobody behind. And that's going to be my focus throughout the year. This is going to be a year of action.
Yeah, it's going to be a year of action, all right. If he's concerned about not leaving anybody behind, too late for that. Because millions of people have dropped out of the labor participation rate and have been left behind. So a little bit late for you to start thinking about that. And I love the way he says we've got we've got in this economy, we've got to make sure, it is real. Are you trying to convince yourself, or are you trying to convince those that were listening? It is real. There's nothing real about it. And if it is a recovery, it's a recovery out of the twilight zone, because we've never seen a recovery like this. But this is going to be a year of action, and that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid it is going to be a year of action. We know what he said about he is going to put his agenda in regardless of what it takes. He goes on to say this. Go ahead, Devin.
I will mobilize the country around the national mission of making sure our economy offers every American who works hard a fair shot at success. Anybody in this country who works hard should have a fair shot at success. Period. Your country will help you remake your community on behalf of your kids, family by family, block by block. We call these communities promise zones. They're neighborhoods where we will help local efforts to meet one national goal, that a child's course in life should be determined not by the zip code she's born in, but by the strength of her work ethic and the scope of her dreams.
So how exactly are you creating the work ethic? By creating a promise zones by which the government is going to go in block by block and begin to fix. They're not going to address. There's nothing in the plan that I've heard of about family values being addressed. There's nothing in the plan, as far as I know, about creating jobs first. See, here's a great idea. The government loves to put the cart before the horse. Here's a great idea. How about you go in and create jobs in a particular city or place? Offer some corporate incentives. Bring in industry. Create some jobs. Create industry in a particular area. Then go and create the promise zones by which we can train and educate the children of the community in things such as good work ethic and how to do a particular job that might fit in to the industry that's trying to be placed in that particular community. How about we talk to them about family values, about the value and the sanctity of life? How about we do that? How about we talk to churches in the community, helping churches to get the message out of the saving grace of Jesus Christ? Why don't we do that? The promise zone. I promise to do something because you're going to promise to vote for the party. Is that it? This is insanity. And it's absolutely an insult on everybody's common sense that this is a president that now is talking about the national mission. We have a national mission of equality. That's our national mission. I missed that somewhere along the way. I don't know. Maybe Devin caught it or someone else out there caught it. I missed the whole national mission thing. Really, that's our national mission now. Marco Rubio. I'm not a huge fan of Marco Rubio. Like him. Seems like a nice young man. Seems like he's desperately trying to stay in office and I'm going to support this. No, I'm not. Yes, I am kind of thing. He's on the presidential list, by the way, of the GOP. I want to talk about that, but he made a comment. It's a good one, I guess. I'll play that as well. 866-300-9298. 866-300-9298. Financial Issues. I'm Dan Celia. We'll be right back.